you are. This was a fab idea of yours, and it's been quite fun to do too. Each of the participants paid 500 Ankh-Morpork dollars to enter, and there were a whole bunch of dupes who paid $100 each just to be interviewed for the opportunity. But do you really think we should be pulling this scam? I'm pretty sure Lord Veterinary isn't going to take kindly to us breaking into his office, and you impersonating him like this, it's not going to go down well.
Don't worry, we are going to make a bomb.
Fair enough.
So who have we actually ended up with then?
Well, there's the Arch-Chancellor from over Llamedos.
Llamedos? I didn't even know they had a university over there.
I know, right? And then there's Madame Mozilla. She's from Lanka, I think, but I could be wrong. She couldn't join me in Leonard's workshop for the challenges. She'd got an urgent call out to over Brassneck, I think. Some guy, sounds like he was in a really bad way. But she'd paid the $500, so what could I do? I didn't want her making a fuss and blowing our cover before we finished this gig. Anyway, we had a right old time getting her omniscope to work. I think she borrowed it from the Arch-Chancellor and it just kept messing up. Oh, and then there's a dwarf by the name of Chirpy. She's got a thing for his lordship, so I think you can have a right old game with her. She's also from Llamedos. They must be a bit slow from over that way. Most of the dupes who entered were from over there. Well, then this was a turn up for the books there. We got a couple of participants from the round world. Wasn't expecting that.
The round world. I've heard they're a bit strange over there, but $500 is $500. They have paid, haven't they?
Yes, sir. I said they had to before we started.
In proper money?
Yes, sir. With Ankh-Morpork money.
Brilliant. Let's get started then. Welcome to the Patrician's Challenge, where I, Lord Veterinary, invite 5 competitors from across the disc and the round worlds to compete in a series of really simple challenges for my entertainment. I will be awarding points, and points mean, you sad sheep, points mean measurements of about 0.385 of a millimeter. Our first contestant tonight is Madame Mozilla.
Is this thing working? Nobody tells me a thing round here. Oh, your worshipfulness. How do you do? I am Madame Mozilla. I'm still sadly in Llamedos. I can't make it to where you are, but I'm still available for the readings if you need me.
I think I'll manage. Thank you. Thank you very kindly. Next up, we have, I think this is a round world name. I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Helen Woodall.
Hello, I'm the alter ego of Lady Sybil Ramkin, so I'm a noble like yourself. It's very good to meet you.
That's wonderful. It's nice to have a bit of class around the place. Next up, a man of great learning, it says here, the Arch-Chancellor.
Good evening, my I'm stuck out hunting, I'm afraid, and there's a lot of very noisy wizards around here, so I've had to put a bit of a time freeze on so that we can communicate properly. I'm the Arch Chancellor, as you well know. I actually come originally from Llamedos.
Well, thank you for telling me that you're the Arch Chancellor and crediting me with the intelligence of a 5-year-old in the process. Next up, we have Ship's Mouse. Hello, you tell me about yourself.
Hello, Lord Veterinary. I'm from the round world. I live within a few meters of our big river system, the Thames, and
the Thames. I have heard of it. Yes. Anyway, I'm sure it's wonderful for you and your little round world. It's very pretty when you see it from the outside. You should take better care of it. Anyway, finally, our 5th and last contestant tonight is Chirpy.
I'm a bit overcome with fangirl. You're so handsome. Anyway, I'm Chirpy Littlebottom from South Llamedos. You might have heard of my cousin Cherry. She's doing quite well in your city watch, I believe. I'm an experimental dwarf baker, getting interesting results with new strata grains, and I hope to open my own artisan bakery in your great city one day.
Well, we're always looking for new people to come and bring us their money. Well, that's our contestants, and what a bunch they are. But they're not just competing for my pleasure. They're also trying to win this magnificent trophy, $2,000. Kaos, is that right?
Yes, sir.
But it's just an empty crate.
Well, I didn't want to waste the budget. You'd be surprised by the amount of people on the disc that have duck blindness.
Okay, that's enough of that. What's our first challenge?
Well, sir, as anybody who's been following you on the Clacks will know, since the lockdown in Ankh-Morpork, with the streets being so much quieter than usual, you've been dabbling in the kitchens. So I thought it'd be a good idea to get our participants to cook you up something a little bit more tasty, shall we say, just so you don't have to eat your own cooking.
Well, now, a very good friend of mine, you may know the lady, Nanny Og. She sent me a copy of her Joy of Snacks. There are some lovely recipes in there.
Well, let's have a look at what they've come up with then.
Of course, sir. Who would you like to see first?
I think I'd like to start with Ship's Mouse. Let's see what tasty treats the round world has cooked up for me. That looks very tempting.
Well, I also have a version of Nanny Og's cookbook, and I took the recipe from it.
My favourite, under normal circumstances.
Well, Nanny Og definitely seems to think so. So, Your Lordship, who would you like to see next?
How about, oh, this should be a bit of a challenge by the look of him, the Arch Chancellor.
I know Chip's Mouse is well aware of your taste of bread and water and being elegant sufficiency. So, yes. Now, this isn't just any water. This is not pure like the Ankh, but it's taken directly from a Llamedos spring and brought to you in a sealed bottle to Ankh-Morpork. It has neither colour, nor taste, nor floating bits, and I trust your lordship will find it a pleasant change. Accompanying it is bread with a bit of excitement, a Llamedos recipe stone, soft and crumbling with a savoury flavour from a secret yeasty ingredient. Moist enough to be consumed alone, but equally can be consumed with other savoury stuff as starch cheeses. And I hope this meets your approval, my lord.
The water, you stress that it's tasteless. Are you trying to imply something about me?
Not in the least, my lord. I am merely trying to say it's not Ankh-Morpork water, which, as we know, is too muddy to plough, but still too chewy to swallow.
It has character and builds it. I think we should stay on the disc for our next tasty treat. Let's see what our own baker Chirpy has to offer.
Absolutely, Your Lordship. These are my speciality. They're blue lias dream cakes. As you know, Your Lordship, dwarf baking can be quite heavy, used in battles, etc. But these are truly light delight. I use a planishing hammer, which is much smaller and has two heads that are interestingly shaped. And this splits the strata and creates airy layers, you see. I found that the argillaceous properties of the grain give not only the light blue hue, but also a tasty marine flavour. And I've decorated them with candied jellyfish, because I know that you like them, and real gold, because I wanted to make them pretty. They can also double as dog biscuits if you leave them in your larders for a week or more. So I hope you like them. Enjoy.
I think they could probably double as cannonballs if you leave them in the larder for a week or more, in my previous experience of dwarf cookery. Thank you for the effort, but I think we move on. Well, let's stay on the disc again and see what Madame Mozilla could come up with.
Dwarfish drop stones. But I thought I'd do rock cakes. It sounded more festive. And they turned out a treat. They really do look like little mountains, because I iced some trees on them too. So if you don't fancy eating them, they can be a talking piece or even a weapon in a pinch.
Rock cakes. Dwarf rock cakes.
Not made by
I can't wait to
dwarf.
try them. I can't wait. In fact, I won't wait. So we've missed that, unfortunately. So let's move on quickly. Well, there's definitely been a bit of a theme going on there, hasn't there? Here's hoping our last round world contestant come up with something a bit more original. Helen.
So this is a rare delicacy from Comtesse du Barry from Paris. It is duck legs and Bordelaise sauce avec cep mushrooms, which I felt befitted somebody of your station.
Great. Well, thank you very much. I think it's time to consider our scores now. It's a very difficult choice. I mean, there are some obvious crawlers going for my well-known preference for bread and water. I don't know. Should I reward them for knowing what I'm like, or should I punish them for being safe and not taking a risk? Helen, a half-empty jar full of mushrooms.
And duck's legs.
You've obviously eaten all the duck's legs. All I can see in there are mushrooms.
And she didn't make it, she bought it.
No, that's what the staff are for, to make things.
Nobody likes a grass, Chirpy. You'll learn that when you come to the big city.
But I
With
won't
grass, you
really
get cut. So somebody's going down there. Right, okay. I think Helen, for her jar of mushrooms, 1 point. And it was bought. Chirpy for her dream cakes, 2. The Arch-Chancellor for his scone, it's worth 3 points. But good old bread and water gets 5 points for chips and nuts.
What's Mademoiselle scoring for her rock cakes? Is that 2 the same as Chirpy's,
That's
Brad?
2, yeah. Couldn't tell them apart, I'm afraid. This is, I believe, the end of part 1, and we now have an advert break. Something we've recently got into in Ankh-Morpork. Adverts everywhere. See you after the break.
For all your Discworld news and reviews, subscribe to Discworld Monthly.
Is life getting you down? Are you dreaming of your next getaway? Then why not book your next break at Llamedos holiday camp? We can't promise the rain will stop, but our purple coats will always bring you sunshine.
Welcome back. We've just been trying to find out what our contestants think I'd find appetizing. And they've all tried. They've been very trying. Anyway, without further ado, let's get on with our first proper challenge. Kaos, what have you got me?
Ah, yes, sir. This is a challenge I like to call DuckTales.
Hang on, DuckTales. I thought I told you to run this segment with the title Anetidae Adventures.
Well, yes, it was, but I can't say it, sir.
Can't say so.
You know, the A word.
Okay, let's get on with DuckTales. What did the participants have to do?
I'll let Mademoiselle explain.
Give this the greatest adventure. You have 1 week to provide iconographic evidence of the little thing's exploits. Well, that's an interesting thing. I have a week. Oh, now. You're going to be a fun little thing, aren't you? Yes, you are.
Well, that sounds interesting. Let's find out how they did, shall we? Who's first?
Well, it was definitely interesting. As you'd expect, each of our participants went about things in a slightly different way. While some of our participants went the whole hog and sent in full-on clickies, the rest did exactly what it said on the card and provided iconographs, sir, along with scripts to go with them. But I knew you wouldn't want to go to the effort to reading them, sir.
Damn right.
Yes, well, that's why I've read them for you. Let's start with Helen.
There was once a little duck called the Duchess of Ankh. The Duchess came from Boston. She spent her days slaving away at the computer. Every day when she finished work, she listened to Steel Eye Span on her Bluetooth speaker. However, one day she decided to go on an adventure. So she bravely climbed up the cat tower to see what she could see. The outside world looked so exciting. The Duchess quickly flew out through the cat flap to go and explore the garden. She flapped up onto the conservatory windowsill to have a good look round, but it was too low. So she flapped up higher onto the fence, where she could see Nobby sitting on the pond filter box. So she flew down to join him. From here she could see the koi pond. It looked really inviting, so she decided to go for a swim. But the water was oh so cold and she started to sink. Fortunately, Nobby came to her rescue. And he took her inside to warm up, where she met Nobby's sergeant, Fred, and they sat and had a chat about the wonderful garden and the perilous koi pond. Still feeling a little cold, the Duchess popped into the water dispenser for a nice hot shower. All this excitement had made the Duchess very, very tired, so she went to bed to dream of her next big adventure.
Cats rescuing ducks. Does this happen very often?
Cats are very kind. They're members of the watch, so they like to guard and protect.
All I've ever seen cats do is turn up the meals, personally. There you go.
I was more intrigued by the claim that it climbed up the cat tower when it can fly, and we know that because it flapped its way onto the windowsill. So I think it's probably some character development needs to go in there to explain this change in abilities in this creature. Otherwise, slightly thrilling.
I'm glad you enjoyed it, sir. The next epic tale is from the Arch-Chancellor.
Being the Arch-Chancellor, I am of course at home in a broomstick. So the first thing Captain Duck got was his first ever broomstick ride. It's a lot faster than flying under your own power. Our first visit was the Great Neff Desert, which is so dry it's the only place you can find hydrophobe wizards. It was a bit hot and dry for an aquatic bird, so we improvised a Lawrence of Howanderland hat for Captain Duck. We decided to move on to somewhere a bit damper. Dropping in on some acquaintances in the jungles of northern Clatch, Captain Duck was very glad to meet my monkey friend, yes, not an ape, and chill for a bit. My tiger friend really impressed Captain Duck with his tales of the hunt, so we lingered a bit before setting off. On the way, Captain Duck spotted a high-flying kite and was so distracted he forgot to hold on. I dived to try and catch him before he fell, coming very close, but he breezed past my hat at speed and disappeared towards the ground. When I landed, I was relieved to find he'd had his fall broken by a flower. I asked why he didn't just fly and express the view that he was so parched after such an adventure, especially with the desert. So, could we just find something where to get a drink? We found a city, albeit a bit of an odd one, and asked the locals, no, not the Cow, that's for Master Vimes to find, where we could get a decent drink. They directed us to Purple Pussycat Club, which turned out to do rather good ales for me and cocktails for Captain Duck. After a couple of drinks, Captain Duck decided to join in with the Culture Emilio, and we bopped the night away with our new leather-clad friends.
Well, I was grabbed by this one from the start. I could see where the story was going. This I thought was going to be a very good children's story, and then bang, we're in bondage gear, just like that. I don't know what market you're going for, but yes. I slightly worry about this one.
Right, shall we move on? The next adventure is from Chirpy.
Duck's greatest adventure. One day our protagonist, Duck, was bored. What'll I do with my life, he thought, and then he remembered a story his founding feathers had told him of a webbed feat of bravery called only The Journey. His father had tried to keep it a deep duck secret, but our full Malady youngster wasn't going to let that hold him back. So he left his home pond and set out to spread his wings, go on a flight of fancy, follow his star. Well, you know how it goes. After many days, he reached the starting point, the running Leggings River. Its stagnant waters and assault on his nostrils, but he dove in and started swimming against the flow, repeating his mantra, little strokes make mighty oaks. After some ducking and diving, he had reached the jaggedy wasteland known only as the Sofa Throw. He struck out onward, ever onward, across this vast, undulating wasteland for many, many miles. He was glad he'd had a decadent breakfast before he left, to give him the energy to traverse the swimmingly unsurmountable terrain. In fact, he had to leap over some of the bumps like a gymnast. If anyone had been watching, they'd have thought it was poetry in motion. By the time he reached the other side, there were dark clouds on the horizon, high above him. He stopped to wet his beak and then peered into the foul forest ahead. He thought he heard things moving. He took several faltering steps, and then his earnest dedication took over and he strode ahead. Then They grabbed him, the black tassel monsters that live on the edge of this wild wasteland throw. He grabbed his mobile phone to call the old Bill, but realised the network was down. He fought back again, tried to wing it, but that was his downfall. And just when all hope was lost, a giant flowery deer leapt off the local cushion escarpment, and a murder most foul took place with his antlers, and he was free to go. He thanked his dear friend, and in less than a minute was on the final leg of his journey, the snowy blanket mountains. It was cold, and he felt very tired, but was determined to give it his next shot and complete his quest. He knew he would be crestfallen if he didn't complete the journey, and indeed neither did he want to fall from the crest of the mountain. So he forged ever upward until, without further ado, he reached the peak of Dragonfly Mountain. What a feather in his cap that was! And yes, the view was stunning over the long reaches of Live in Groom to the faraway lights of Christmas Tree Town. I do hope you enjoyed this sneak peek of Duck's greatest adventure. Next week he visits the scene of the Battle of Quack Valley, where many brave ducks lost their lives to the small humans of Our Lady of Mount Carmel annual duck race in the shadow of the Troll Bridge. The end.
Feeling quite down with all the puns that went on there.
I have to ask, was there a play on words in the middle there somewhere?
Just a
Something about he
little.
was looking for things and he was a Peking duck. But what's not to like about a pun or play on words? I think Chirpy has found her audience. Knows who she's looking for.
Fab. So now we will see Madame Mozilla.
As Danger Duck snuggled down into his cosy bed, he never imagined where his dreams would take him that night. He was first astonished to find the wonderful rainbow bridge Billfrost, which took him all the way up to Quackhalla. There he met two friendly Viking ducks, who gave him some mead and a very fancy goblet. But the goblet suddenly became huge, and he fell into the cup. He thought all was lost, but he landed near a shore where a mermaid was playing in the sand. She introduced him to a big black duck who offered him a ride home. He woke up to the sound of someone in the shower.
See, I went with the idea that a week was 7. So I only did 7. Sorry.
Well, I mean, what can I say? I don't think Spielberg's going to go for this one. I don't think you've got box office appeal.
Oh, but the
I mean,
Billfrost,
it opens well.
Bifrost.
We have Peril, we have Danger Duck. The names are good, and then all of a sudden there's a mermaid.
Not having a mermaid, sir. I mean, how else are you going to work your way around the sand?
It's a duck; it can fly. I think by trying to take these markets, the teenagers going for their danger action films and the kids and their mermaids, I think you've spread it too thin. So I'm out.
And now for the final ducktail, Ship's Mouse from the Round World. It's based on that fabulous book, Where's My Cow? But it was a nightmare to, well, you'll see, sir.
Where's my species? This little duck under the Patrician's challenge is on a great adventure. He's looking for his family because some things are important. As he is not in Ankh-Morpork, species do not mix as well. We are hoping the Patrician is good at animal impressions. Well, yes, the patrician is good at animal noises. I mean, you should hear his clacking tree frog, but I'm really sorry, Ship's Mouse. What you're stuck with is me and my complete ineptitude at sound effects. Sorry. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a coltit. That's not my species, but he is friendly. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a blue tit. That's not my species. I will call some friends across, he says. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a long-tailed tit. That's not my species. Not from the tit family. They tweet. Where's my species? Is that my species? It is far too noisy. It is a starling. That's not my species. I have not seen your kind here before. They warble and whistle. All these creatures seem to fly. Maybe I should try too. This is not very dignified. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. That is Grebo. That's not my species. Birds are found in trees, he suggests. This feels so wrong. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a squirrel. That's not my species. Have you tried by the river? He muck-mucks. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a Canadian goose. That's not my species. Pigeons, please could I have some room? Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a mallard duck. That's not my species. It is at least the right shape, but very large. After being knocked into the river by a pigeon, I have found myself in a boat. The only thing out here dived under the water. Where's my species? Is that my species? It goes. It is a mute swan. That's not my species. They are huge and scary. I better go back to the house. Where's my species? Is that my species? It does not make a sound. It is a model deer. That's not my species. Have you tried in the bathroom? I hear the hogfather say. Where's my species? Is that my species? I cannot hear anything over the bubbles popping. Yes, it's a rubber duck. That's my species.
And there we have Ship's Mouth's video for you, creation for you.
Talk about
Very
saga.
educational.
Wow.
Very educational.
Now, when we were talking earlier, Kaos, you said that this one was an absolute bugger to do.
It was, Your Lordship.
Well, in that case, that's a bonus point for Ship's Mouse. No matter what she scores, there's a +1 to go there. The thing that struck me about that one was that with just the addition of a little fire and a few appropriate sauces, it could have gone in the Tasty Treat Challenge just as well. But it's time for points. So, starting at the top, I think Chirpy's pune-laden delight has to take 5 points.
As you wish.
Ship's Mouse at 4, plus the bonus one.
So 5 points for Ship's Mouse.
3 for the Arch-Chancellor. For knowing a monkey is not an ape. 2 for Helen, and somebody has to be bottom, I'm afraid. 1 for Mozilla.
That's it.
Well, I mean, 1 has to be bottom, I'm afraid. I don't care. Somebody's bottom, live with it. Well, wasn't that entertaining? Let's see what that's done to our scores.
so this is how our scoreboard after 2 challenges currently looks. As we can see, Ship's Mouse has taken an early lead with 10 points, followed by Chirpy at 7. Coming up close behind her is the Arch-Chancellor with 6, and bringing in the rear with 3 points apiece is Helen and Madame Mozilla. Well done, everybody.
As they say, there's everything to play for, although actually, really, when you look at it, there's nothing to play for. Anyway, what's next?
Yes, well, this is a challenge that I put into the mix just for you, sir. It's called Learn the Words, and here's the Arch-Chancellor to explain what they had to do.
Please mime the title of a Terry Pratchett Discworld novel. You have 5 minutes to plan your mime and 1 minute to perform it. Warning, if you choose the same book as another contestant, you will receive a duck. Sorry, 0 points.
I'm sorry, sir. This was definitely all my fault.
Oh, don't worry. As long as you're not miming, you're perfectly safe.
I'm not miming.
I must have checked. Hello, Chip. But we were given this challenge. We were promised immunity for the scorpion, but you cut that bit out.
What he said.
Absolutely.
It's like I say, it's almost as if you don't know me.
Well, I know you. I just thought it would be amusing to watch this lot attempt to.
Oh, I think it'll be hilarious to watch this lot attempt. Especially when they're torn between the desire to do it well and get points, but do it well and get more time in the pit.
Well, that is obviously for you to decide, sir. So if you tell me who you'd like to see, I will show you their attempts. You will then get a chance to see whether you can work out what they were doing. And
well, they all seem to be trying to rat on each other at the moment. Behave yourselves. Where do you think you are? Hanford Parish Council? Enough. Well, you've done it now. Shall we get on with it?
Yes, sir. Who would you like to see first?
I think I prefer not to have to see any of them, but let's get this over with. We'll start with Helen from Llamedos.
I'm putting on my mime gloves. They're not feather lined and they're not getting me in a flap. So with my mime gloves, I am going to do a charade of one of Terry Pratchett's books. So it starts with and in it has a wash of, and then it has and then it's going to be and then I'll do that.
And there you have it, sir.
That's cheating. She used words.
I must admit, I was about to say it's certainly noisier than most mimes I've seen.
Trying to avoid the pit.
And
maybe.
And it didn't help.
I must admit, I struggled with this one as well, sir.
Might I suggest that anybody who can guess what it was might earn themselves bonus points and stay out of the pit. So who wants to have a guess?
Well, the first thing that came to me, because she was saying a wash, is the colour of magic.
Well done, Madame Mozilla.
A bonus point there.
Oh, he's just weird, I'm sorry.
I hope the next one's a little better. Let's see the Arch-Chancellor.
I think I'll have to pick a book that's actually quite hard to mime because that will discourage others. I may be overthinking this. Okay, I now have my mime planned.
Snuff.
Oh, who's at that?
Me.
I didn't
Right,
ask for volunteers. Did I? You've not played Havelock Says, have you?
No. Scorpion pit.
So, Ship's Mouse, that was you, was it?
It was Helen,
No,
sir.
it was
Oh.
me.
Helen. Oh dear, Helen. Oh, dear, dear. But we are all in agreement that one was Snuff.
It was, sir.
So next up, I believe, is Ship's Mouse.
One of my favourites.
Short and sweet from Ship's Mouse.
Is that well-known novel, Jiggle the Hourglass? Does anybody want to have a go at guessing that one?
I would, my lordship. I would guess Thief of Time.
Yeah, I'm too terrified.
Oh,
I'm too terrified to say anything.
We have been
Ship's Mouse is
asked
shaking her
now.
head there.
It's waiting for him to say something. So,
Anybody? Lord Veterinary, do you know?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, Ship's Mouse, would you like to tell everybody what you did?
I did equals rights.
What a horrible,
Sorry.
horrible, wonderful pun on the game.
But it was my favourite book.
good one. Good one.
It's a good one. It is a good one. But nonetheless, you defeated everybody else. So that's going to be worth something. This contestant, I think, is chirping. Oh, gods of dwarf mining. See, did you see what I did there? A dwarf mining instead of miming. You know, if I catch them mining, I can have them put in the scorpion bin. Please.
Let me think now. Oh my goodness, oh my gods. You have me needing a doctor.
I have to ask Chirpy, is everything all right at home?
Sometimes.
Who would like to have a go at this one? Archchancellor's had a go. Ship's Mouse.
Is it the fifth element? Sorry, the fifth element.
It is.
That's what the was. I was thinking it was going that way. So. Very good, very good. I enjoyed that
look
one.
At Madame Mozilla's charade.
Going for the simplest one I can think of. I may have made some noise in the hope that I avoid the scorpions.
So trying to avoid the scorpions there, Madame Mozilla.
Bit of tactical play there. And Mozilla, you're not allowed to guess your own.
Was that Rincewind running by any chance?
No.
Can we see it again?
Madame Mozilla could reenact it for you live. Not sure that helped.
There's 41 novels, so it shouldn't take us that long to work out which one it is. I think we are giving up. You've beaten us, Mademoiselle.
Go for it.
Was it Raising Steam?
It was.
Of course it was. Right. Well, it's very difficult to address the quality of the mime if people were able to work it out. And then if people weren't able to work it out, I have to try and judge whether it's because it was a really good and subtle mime or a terrible mime. You know, Raising Steam. Nobody would guess that. That would be a terrible mime. And we have some bonus points to add in. I think the fifth elephant.
So that's Chirpy.
Has to get 5. Colour of Magic. There were too many words. Too many words. I think that's down at the 1, I'm afraid. 4 points for Raising Steam. 3 for Equal Rights and 2 for Snuff. Chaos. We've also got some bonus points that I think we've got a bonus point for Mozilla and a bonus point for Shipslock for good guessings.
Fantastic. So we're adding 2 for the Arch-Chancellor, 5 for Chirpy, 1 for Helen, 5 for Madame Mozilla, and 4 for Ship's Mouse.
Now we'll go to another lovely ad break.
And they've gone.
Do you think this lot have noticed that we're not who we say we
You've
are?
met them, haven't you? There's not a working marble between the group. They're not going to spot anything.
Anyway, I mean, they still believe they're going to get $2,000 if they win. The fool.
Want to keep up to date with all the latest Discworld news? Subscribe to Discworld Monthly.
Is life getting you down? Are you dreaming of your next getaway? Then why not book your next break at Llamedos Holiday Camp? We can't promise the rain will stop, but our purple coats will always bring you sunshine.
Welcome back. Before the break, our participants were doing things I'd rather forget. So let's take a look at that scoreboard and see who's one step closer to winning $2,000.
Current scores stand like this. Ship's Mouse is still in the lead, however Chirpy's coming up very close behind her. She's made a right jump forwards. Madame Mozilla and the Arch-Chancellor are now joined on 8, and bringing up the rear is still Helen, I'm afraid, with 4 points. Oops, sorry, let me just turn that back up the right way.
Chaos, you are an absolute moron.
Sorry, sir, it's not like I did it on purpose.
What is wrong with you today? Why do I specify today?
I don't know, sir. I really am
I
sorry.
don't care how sorry you are. You're making us both look like amateurs. Now, pull yourself together, or it's you that will be going in the scorpion pit. Sorry about that. They say never work with children or animals. They should add never work with the tragically inept to that list. But moving along, the show must go on. Well, with Ship's Mouse comfortably in the lead, I think it's becoming obvious who's going home with the $2,000. What's next, Kaos?
Hopefully you'll like this challenge a little better than the last one.
For your sake, I hope I do.
Ah, yes. Well, for this challenge, I asked our participants to channel their inner artist. Here's Helen to tell you all about it.
Using only the items provided in this box, you have 5 minutes to create a portrait of the creator, Sir Terry Pratchett. Okay.
Now, this sounds more my cup of tea. I am a great art lover.
Whatever you say, sir. Would you like to see the art materials we provided our participants with?
Of course.
Did you attend the College of Arts yourself? I mean, it certainly looks like a perfectly acceptable range of materials.
Well, actually, sir, I went to cookery school. That's why there was so much avec. Was left over. You need a lot of avec for my cooking, to be fair.
Let's see the masterpieces.
Masterpieces.
Well, you will get to judge those for yourself, but first of all, let's have a look at how they actually got along with the challenge.
I have the box.
And oh my God, there are things in here. Oh, good grief. Oh, really? Strange people that you all are. And okay, salt and pepper. Am I going to be eating this afterwards then? I seem to have an amazing. What on earth is? Oh, I'm going to be able to eat all of this afterwards by the looks of this. This is quite impressive. And double choc mocha. I prefer the lattes myself, but that's quite all right. Pipe cleaners and macaroni pieces, really. Oh dear, you have been on a bender, haven't you?
Right. A portrait.
Just a minute. I'm making a beard. I'm very good at beards. As you can imagine, you can see my wonderful lustrous beard.
That might work for a face. Being the filter paper.
Right, I'm going to smear it around a bit. Proper smelly as well.
I'm assuming that's going to be a nice dark colour.
And I'm going to try and use some salt to give him some facial features.
Oh, actually, that string would work much better.
Oh my goodness, there's some funny little wiggly bits here. I think they're troll's teeth.
I could make him Grebo. You've given me some lovely whiskers. That would have been fun.
Nobody would want to pay a bill for having a piece of artwork from me because I am not very artistic, but I think I've finished.
I think given my artistic predilections, that's probably as good as it's going to get.
I very carefully did not open the couscous or the macaroni. I took one look at my table and thought, no, this poor man's table's probably seen enough couscous as it goes. We'll leave the couscous where it is.
Oh, it's very, very smelly. I'm a bit allergic to salad cream or mayo, and it smells horrible.
Tartar sauce was even worse.
So, Your Lordship, would you like to see the results of their artistic endeavours?
Well, do you know, having seen the looks on their faces as they were creating their works of art, I'm not absolutely sure I do want to see them, but I do feel obliged. Well, let us see these wondrous works of art. This where grocery shopping meets high art.
Here we go. As you can see, Lord Veterinary, we have some very interesting pieces of artwork here. Not sure if any of them really look like Sir Terry Pratchett.
Well, if I had been presented with these, not knowing who they were, I would have guessed number 1 is the girl with the pearl earring. Number 2 is Rolf Harris. Number 3, I think that's got to be in a surreal style, because I can't see anything I would describe as human features in it.
I did wonder if Sir Terry in that one was wearing some sort of nose ring. No, but I believe that's an eye. I may be wrong though.
Number 4, I'm not sure, but I think it's a character from a children's puppet show. And number 5, I think, actually looks a bit like Terry Pratchett. It has the right number of eyes, which is a good start. But it seems to have an awful lot of white hair, which I don't really remember him having. Okay, well, number 3, I mean, did they get the instructions that it was supposed to look like Terry? That's the thing I have to ask at this point. I mean, if we're quite sure of that, if they're quite sure that they did, then I think that's 1 point for number 3. Number 1, it's a very good picture of the girl with the pearl earring. So I think 2 for that. Number 4, again, a good picture, but I'm not sure what it's a good picture of. No, I think number 4 is getting 3 points, and that leaves us Rolf Harris, which I don't know. It's very difficult. It's oddly enough, I think the Rolf Harris one looks more like Rolf Harris than it does Terry, but I think it's a better picture somehow. So I would give 4 points to number 5 and 5 points to number 2.
So, would you like to see who actually produced these pictures for you?
I think that would be a fascinating piece of information to discover. Anyway, I do believe we're approaching our final challenge. What have you got for me this time?
Oh, I think you're really going to like this one, sir.
I think I'll be the judge of that.
Yes, sir. Here's Chirpy to explain.
Patrician's challenge. Oh my goodness. Throughout all of today's challenges, you must inject as many duck puns into the conversation as possible. The patrician will allocate bonus points for the best pun. That's ducktastic.
Well, I do love a good pune, but it must be a good one, you know.
I thought you'd enjoy this, sir. I think we'll start with a little montage of them all together.
When we're doing these challenges, all I can think of is that birds of a feather flock together.
But I'll be down with that lately, I'm sure.
I'll do my ducking best for that.
I might have to duck that challenge, but
Could make a documentary about it.
I mean, I'm having a quacking good time as it goes.
Nobody would want to pay a bill for having a piece of artwork from me.
I took a quack at it.
We will see how things go if they go swimmingly.
I'm still saying to myself, what do you do next?
You need a dictionary.
So he'll be feathering the nest for you then, I understand.
Oh, my founding feathers, what am I going to do?
He's a duck down very hard, by the way.
Going into the next challenge. Right.
Oh, you'll be quackers later, don't worry.
I'll take a quack at it.
Have to use the vocative and say, oh, duck.
Let's see what's going to let the duck out of the bag this time.
I'll drake my way through it, don't worry.
There's a code of conduct. That's what I need to know.
Buddy duck.
It's okay. I'm waddling my way forward, don't worry.
Be productive.
I think it's going to have to be roast duck.
I mean, I'm only on a wing and a prayer at the moment. It's dreadful.
Well, I did enjoy that, but it was very hard to keep track of who was performing best.
That's okay, sir. I've got that covered. I've written out all their tunes for you. Let's start with Helen, Madame Mozilla, and the Arch-Chancellor. All three of them were rather well matched in the Pune stakes.
Well, hold on a moment there. Not all of those were Punes. I mean, roast duck. I'm not having that. You can take that right off the Arch-Chancellor's total now.
No problem, just give me a second.
So that's the first three. What about Chirpy and Ship's Mouse?
Ah, yes. Well, they approach things in quite a different way. Let's start with Chirpy.
Well, that's what I have to call puntastic. What about Ship's Mouse? I think someone may have forgotten they were supposed to be puning throughout all the challenges, didn't they?
Is there somebody we should be calling, Chipman? Are you? Is it okay that you're out on your own at the moment? You did get the right instructions, didn't you? Who wants to donate some spare puns to the Ship's Mouse account?
I think Chirpy has
Chirpy.
plenty.
Chirpy has plenty. Chirpy has volunteered. Chirpy is very generous. I think, should we shift Ken across, Kaos?
As you wish, sir. Just a second while I sort it out. And that would leave us with the final Pune tally as 6 for the Arch-Chancellor, 10 each for Madame Mozilla and Helen, 11 for Ship's Mouse, and 46 for Chirpy, sir.
So Chirpy is still
in the lead.
Miles ahead of the pack and gets a well-deserved 5 points.
She does.
And a bonus point for being a good sport and giving some puns away. And everybody else gets, well, they all made a decent effort. Everybody else gets 3.
Well, that brings us to the end of our challenges. Let's see the scores on the scoreboard.
Well, not quite, sir. You see, I thought it would be fun if we got our participants to complete a challenge right here and now to see who really wanted to be taking home that $2,000.
That sounds brilliant. I have the best ideas, don't I?
Yes, sir, you do. I've always said so.
Okay, then. Tell them what I've asked them to do.
Following on from the participant in front of you alphabetically, name as many Discworld or Roundworld creatures as you can. Each creature must be next alphabetically from the one before it. For example, if I said ant, the Arch-Chancellor could say beaver, and Chirpy could say curious squid. You are not allowed to use the 3 that I've just given you examples of. But be quick, too much hesitation and Lord Veterinary will disqualify you. Last person standing wins all 5 points. There are no other scores. So the order that we will go in is alphabetically. So we'll start with the Arch-Chancellor, followed by Chirpy, followed by Helen, then Madame Mozilla, and then Ship's Mouse, and back to the Arch-Chancellor, so on and so forth. So let's get started. We will start with the Arch-Chancellor and A.
Aardvark.
Beleaguered badger.
Chuff.
Dog.
Fish.
Oh, stop.
Oh.
We've gone from dog to fish, I'm afraid, Ship's Mouse.
Sorry,
We need an
I forgot
A.
the
Back to the Arch-Chancellor at F.
Frog.
Does Grebo count?
Grebo's not a species, he's a name.
So we're on to Helen, who will now come after the Arch-Chancellor, and we're still on G.
No.
Horse.
Another one bites the dust. So Helen and Mozilla, you're the last 2 standing. We're back to Helen from I.
Imp.
Jackal.
It's too long, too slow.
Oh.
Madame Mozilla wins all 5 points for the live task.
So that really does bring us to the end of our challenges. Let's have a look at the scoreboard and find out who is our ultimate winner.
So the final scores stand like this. The live task hasn't had any impact on our leaders. Ship's Mouse, who had been way out front throughout the early challenges, has been pipped to the post by Chirpy, who wins with 22 points, closely followed by Ship's Mouse with 19. Then it's Madame Mozilla on 17, the Arch-Chancellor on 16, and Helen bringing up the rear on 10.
Congratulations, Chirpy. Since you are in your mines in Llamedos at the moment, I can't physically hand you your trophy, but I'm going to ask the Arch-Chancellor, if that's okay, possibly arrange something appropriate. Thank you.
Thank you so much, your lordship. I'm made up. Did I really earn this, or was it that I wore you down with all the poons? Either way, people to thank. Firstly, all my fellow dwarves from my mining days. It will get me up at the crack of dawn, no matter what the feather forecast, to go down pit. So without their witty banter, day in, day out, I'd never have remembered as many, would I now? Also, thanks must go to my fellow contestants, or even worse, at impromptu portraiture than I am. And that helped a lot. But with my mining days behind me now, and I can open my little artisan bakery with the prize money, so I'm very excited.
Kaos here will sort out the money.
Ah, yes. Mr. Von Lippwig down at the bank is just sorting it out for you. It'll take a couple of days to get that kind of money pulled together, and especially since we need to send it across to you securely. There are bandits and highwaymen along the way, you know.
Well, that really is all we have time for.
And thank you all for watching.
Sir, we have a problem. There, I've disconnected all of the omniscopes. The real Lord Vetinari is on his way up the
Is
stairs.
this the real Lord Vetinari?
You know, the one whose office you're currently sitting in?
Oh, that Lord Vetinari.
Yes, that Lord Vetinari.